Well, hello everyone, and welcome to today's edition of Beyond the Ordinary Show. And this is today's topic, y'all. Um, we're getting into it with Aisha Love, and she's going to be sharing with us how we're aligning with our soul purpose through the power of shadow alchemy and the physics of love, why blind spots persist for healers, and how embodied love aligns body, soul, and purpose. And I want to step back into the intellectual kind of reaction that we have when we hear alignment, shadow, alchemy, and even embodied love. And I want to invite you to drop the intellectual understanding into the innocence of the heart that's really wanting to serve you right now. And Aisha has personal experiences, embodied wisdom, and awarenesses through interaction with her community and her connection into where she channels and receives the source of healing that she offers on these calls and for her personal clients and people who take her workshops. And there's something quite profound that is demonstrating itself that we have the privilege to be able to receive and carry forward in ways that perhaps other people don't have access to at this time. So I know it's going to be an activating call. It may provide a lot of ahas that'll like slam doors wide open that perhaps weren't there. And it also may give you a sense of being held in compassion for some of the things that you may be navigating that just didn't make sense. But when we put it into context, into a bigger picture and what's seen from other multidimensional realms, again, we get to exhale and allow the fluidity of the release and the activation of the receptivity to really guide us forward in ways that we didn't expect. So again, it's gonna be an amazing call. We'll probably get into Q&A. I'm sure we will. There's an amazing special offer that Aisha's brought in for us as well. We'll go through that later on the call. And without further ado, Aisha, welcome back to Beyond the Ordinary.
Thank you so much, John, and hello to everyone on the call tonight, and thank you again for having me.
Of course. So what motivated today's topic, Aisha?
Well, of course, it's my own lived experience
Mm,
and where my own awakening slash remembering has led me. And I'm sure you can relate, John, and probably some of the healers and listeners on the call, which is, just when you think, oh, I've got it, a whole nother level tends to arrive. And that was a powerful stepping stone, but it keeps going and it keeps going. It's very human to want to arrive and form a gnosis and a new paradigm of knowing and understanding. But what's coming through so clearly this evening is we're flipping all sorts of paradigms on their head. So, for example, right before the call, I went out for my afternoon hike. I live in the Colorado Rockies up here at 10,000 feet, and winter didn't arrive here this year. So I was sitting on my meditation rock in the sun, just really receiving the light of the sun. And I heard for tonight, come from receiving, not giving. And I won't lie, my brain did a record scratch and was like, wait, but how do I do that? And this is where my shadow work comes into play for my body's consciousness and my ancestral line, which tended to overfunction for love. If I look at all my ancestors. And so this body is the culmination point. So think for the listeners of what you've noticed in your family lines, what we tend to do. I'm guessing that the majority of people here are probably overgivers,
mm,
right? Over functioning for love. And so I won't lie, it really took me a minute to kind of feel in my body that is so anathema to how my body orients. And as you and I were just discussing right before we got on, my awakening remembering has brought me to this place of understanding that the body has its own consciousness, separate from the soul and separate from the source God self. And those of us out, a few steps ahead as spiritual guides are remembering this now at a completely different level and attending to the body. And so as I sat there and I let the body kind of grapple with that, all of a sudden, it's exactly how you opened. And it's so beautiful that you said the words you did, which is receiving channeled information, right? Or receiving from the unified field. And that's what I felt. I was like, oh, of course, I do this all the time, receiving to give. But as I went into that flow state, my body shifted and there was no drain. There was no, over functioning and like self-sacrifice and self-martyring. There was no fatigue. There was what you said before the call, a new level of vitality from the source self we're receiving first, and from the receiving we're giving. And that's the paradigm shift that seems to want to really speak itself into remembering tonight.
That's beautiful. It's you begin with this process of a healer's first responsibility being the alchemization of their own shadow. Again, before purpose, service, or teaching, that's the first responsibility. And that would make sense, but I'd love it if you dive in to a little bit more of not only why it's important, it can seem obvious, but why also it's coming up so strongly now.
Absolutely. And, this is hard won by many of us because I think we all dipped into and lived out the collective conditioning, family conditioning of wounded motivation, chasing love versus embodying unconditional love. I search high and low. That doesn't really exist quite yet on the planet in the human race. We're working on it, right? Um, but essentially, what we're talking about is almost like a template of instructions for reality. And so we're in a time where the solar plasma is coming inbound, and the physics that are shifting will not allow anything built from a motivation that is wounded or based on fear to sustain. So, and I'm sure everyone has seen this in their own lives. Like you build something and then it deconstructs, but with hindsight, you realize, oh, right, that had it wasn't totally clean, right? It had distortion in it. So let's build it again and then we'll deconstruct. I think I've been through, I don't know, six, eight of these now, right? It's like a refinement process. And then eventually we get to this place where what we want to build when we're not running from our shadow. And I think the quick cheat sheet on how to figure out what your shadow might be is where you have shame, what you're trying
Mm,
to avoid, what you don't want to look at. It might be family culture of you can't be wrong. You always have to be right, right? Things like that. And then letting the body, it's almost like soul is rider, body is horse, and the spirit coming in and reassuring the body to just let's slow down and let's see what you got going on here. Versus sometimes I think the soul can get so excited about its mission. It's like, let's go. And then it gets frustrated because the body isn't totally on board. And then you have this friction between horse and rider. So for healers to really take their shadow work seriously and be willing to turn and look gently and compassionately in the mirror at what the body's carrying sets a whole new form, like set of instructions for how reality takes shape. And if we're coming from wounding, I think the really short answer, that was the long answer. Here's the short answer. It won't survive in these physics. So we might as well, surrender. I was having a conversation with a peer the other day, and they're like, my spirit guides just keep laughing at me like, nope, you're not getting it. And I'm like, can't we just hurry up and get this along? She's like in an illness of disease right now, and she knows what it's for. But it's like the body's like, yeah, but I don't want to have to feel. And
mm,
it's our ancestral lines talking because they survived by not feeling.
right. That makes a lot of sense. But also what's happening, I see, is that we're in such a rapid culture where our attention span is so quick. So not only do we want to be quick with releasing those things that make us feel uncomfortable,
Right.
but I also, what also comes up and it's a slippery slope. It's wonderful. At the same time, if we really had relationship with it, what it can actually empower us with would be tremendous. And that is when we're receiving downloads or when we get to that place that we think is the doorway that wants to open and we're ready to break open, that we're not really spending time in the activation that's presenting itself and we're trying to rush to the next thing. And our body hasn't acclimated the energies.
Right.
our understanding from a feeling perspective. Again, the things that were being healed aren't slowly being brought up and acclimated into that aspect of love as a technology of our wiring. And and so we get like inklings of a future self possibility that isn't fully integrated, and we wonder why things don't land, but we're not stopping to
Mhm.
smell the roses when we get to the place where we want to be. We're so quick to want to make it something else.
Hmm. Absolutely. The integration issue, I would, as you're saying, is I would say where most of us are circling the wagons to close that gap or canyon, right? And this is why we've all observed, and I'll just use myself as an example, such a dissonance between, spiritual guides, myself included. It's like, wow, it can be so expansive and so at one with everything. And then, wait a minute, how can I be also then the next minute so dysregulated or next hour or next day so dysregulated and spiral? Like, what is that? That's the lack of integration you're speaking of. And the body, everyone I work with, myself included, our bodies right now are like nervous, jumpy horses. And the ancestral lines, they survived by avoiding exposure to judgment. And so it's like this game of cat and mouse. And to your point, if we can just slow down enough to really be with our bodies, like I spend 2 to 3 hours every morning right now with my body, like, uh-huh. And I feel it want to be like, no, we don't need to do this, and let's go do that. And I'm like, just what do you got? And there's more just surfacing all the time. And then I don't think
Yeah.
it's a coincidence, John, just this morning, finally. No pressure body though, no judgment. I'm always talking to my body now because she's listening. Um, my body started talking about getting excited to go on a new adventure. I'm getting reassigned and
Mm.
play. And I went, oh, here we are.
Yeah.
Once we've addressed everything, all these things that have been unpacking themselves for the better part of 3 months, now we're feeling trust and safety to play. And now
Mm.
we can, because we're doing the big inner overhaul, right? Versus jumping out and trying to avoid the shame and then still coming from wounded motivation. That's not usually play, that's performance. And I know
Right.
everyone can relate to that.
And that's trying to force things to happen or be a certain way as well, which is a big one for our bodies and why we go through these waves of exhaustion and ascension symptoms and confusion. And then we tune into other things that are discordant because we don't know what else will give us comfort other than perhaps what was familiar in the past.
You got it. I think we'll tend to go towards trying to seek the body's comfort
Mhm.
instead of integration.
Yeah.
And I'm being shown right now that that path of seeking old familiar comforts, we're hitting the point of diminishing returns. And what once brought us comfort, whether it's a person, relationship, an activity, it's going to fall flat now. And this is, I'm being shown, and I can actually feel it in my body, is when the body actually is going to start to have a bit of a freak out. And it's not going to know, it's going to panic. It's not going to know what to do. And this is where your spirit can come in and say, I
Mm.
got you. And your God self, like the grandparent that's unconditionally loving, and the grandkids just feel it.
Nice.
And that can really help attenuate everything that
How
the body's going
how
through.
would you suggest that listeners when they're getting into a place where they really would like earnestly to ask assistance from spirits, what's a way for them to tune in, call in, and to not just have it be a quick hit, but really to be a relational dynamic that really supports what they're asking for?
Yeah, that's a great question. I'm being shown that if you have or had a grandparent, maybe they're in spirit, or someone like that, maybe it was a teacher, someone else, bring their energy in, bring their memory in. There, I just felt everyone's field just
I
kind
felt it too.
of,
Wow. Yeah.
oh, that's like, it takes the nervous system fry off. See, if you're asking the traumatized horse to therapize itself, that we're asking the body to do something it doesn't have the capacity for. So it's this other aspect. It could be even your greater source self, your God self, if you've been in touch with that. Some people have. And that just attenuates both soul and body. And I'm being shown can reharmonize into the original template that was meant to run this incredible design, which is not a lowly form. It was designed for some incredible things. But the spirit has been like, yeah, yeah. And it's been completely ignoring the body. And the body, its greatest fear is being left behind. And so once you get it trusting that it too, because a lot of ancestral lines have self-worth stuff. That's not for us, that's for other people. Self-worth, negative self-concept and constructs. But once we work with it enough, all of a sudden I watch the body get curious, like, and then get excited like a kid, like me too. Like, absolutely. Love is the foundation. You too. Right.
Mm. That's amazing. It's what's really coming forward also in beginning where you said you were getting like this new energy, this playful energy of coming through, and I like calling that vitality. I heard a message last week that was repeated to me two other times, first from Spirit, then two other people, almost exactly the same words. And I shared it on another call, but I'll share it again. And I heard, John, it's time to fall in love with life again. And it's wonderful. And to that point, it's like, how do we do that? Is there's different ways of perceiving that perhaps we've just gone into a hibernation period where we just needed to like reflect that within ourselves rather than seek it externally. But the lone wolf energy, the self-therapizing, isn't going to carry us forward. And this has been coming up in the collective for many years now that the future of our society is a collective. It's community coming together. It's those showing up in their passion and their genius and what they're uniquely gifting to others that becomes the healing for everybody, including themselves. So again, we're not meant to do it alone. And if we're still trying to do it that way, it's going to be slow going and painful until we listen and respond to our body enough and go, you know what, maybe we'll open up to doing it um, in a more receptive
Mhm.
environment.
You got it. This is such a rich topic and one I've thought a lot about as,
Mm.
again, hyper independent lone wolf, taking that to the complete ends, frying the nervous system, coming back. Um, so a few things are coming through. One is everything's a mirror here. So as we work within our own multidimensional ecosystem of body, soul, greater self, and we start to become the cup that overflows, and we're really attending to the parts of the body that from the ancestral line, for example, it's like there's abandonment in the line, that fear of abandonment. So you end up self-abandoning, chasing love, self-abandoning in the process, remembering all of that, working with the body and then, as all of us have been doing that work individually, to your point, then coming out, and this is what I'm finding is the reflections then are there. Whereas before, you could be stuck in an old trope because you're in, I'm not supported, I have to do this all on my own. Nobody can hold space for me like others, I hold space for others. Lots of stories around masculine and feminine, right? All the tropes. But when all this shifts inside and you've done enough alchemy here and cleaned things up, the mirror starts to show up, and then we can start playing together and putting new constructs together. And I don't want to minimize the challenge of doing that before like all the individuals who want to play together have done enough of the inner alchemy, because if there's still so much in the shadow, all that comes in. And I think many people who've set about setting up intentional communities have discovered that. I've talked to some of my clients who've worked on that, and they're like,
Mhm.
oh my gosh, this is not how I thought this
Yeah.
would go, right?
Well, and I think it's a balance of all that, knowing the seasons where we're going within and knowing the seasons to reach out also and allowing the intelligence of the body, the nudges from spirit and and our previous experience to really be guided into what's our next container, what wants to be presented next for our individuated expansion and we get to listen. But to for many, I know a lot of y'all sensitives, empaths, me too. That's like we've had to do things on our own. We've strengthened our gifts because we've refined them in solitude for survival's sake, and we've gotten really good at it. And then we kind of get out there and we'll say that we're opening, but maybe not necessarily so. And
Hmm.
so there's there's a coming in of realizing that those that we're interacting with, it's like, who's the God standing in front of you if you're a divine being as well? If you're one, then how can you deny that in somebody else? And to be in a place where we can hold each other
Hmm.
in that light, the truth of that light, and and,
Absolutely.
and
Yeah.
calling people up to that harmonic. It's what gets revealed not only in healing, but in creativity, new solutions, and expansion of consciousness. It's all like this beautiful soup that gets to be created.
Absolutely. Well, and let me be really like transparent about my own recent journey because I think it really help people. So there's a lot that I've done in across my own lifetime in my own awakening, remembering, and then realizing coming out of hyper independent lone wolf mode and my spirit team saying you have a divine complement coming. And I was like, at first I was like, no way. Nobody can handle all the crap I deal with, blah blah. I had a whole story, right? But was really partly the body just trying to preserve itself, okay, from what this body inherited. I surrendered, and then I developed a story about what it would be, even though I was bringing through messages about what it actually would be, which is a mirror. And what it turned out to be was a mirror to my own fearful, avoidant attachment style. Haha, amplified. Okay. And then I entered the world of attachment style. So our spirit is really excited, our soul is really excited, but our body is still carrying all the trauma our ancestors never alchemized, especially related to relationships. So there's only one way, to your point, to continue the expansion, and that's to come together in relationship with other people in all sorts of different forms and to see what you could never trigger on your own, see triggered and like catalyzed in relationship, whether that's, like romantic relationship, it's business relationship, it's family, of origin.
But I want to take the word trigger though, and I now want to actually be very inclusive about what that means because it can mean it can trigger an old wound, something that you're healing, something that's still stagnant. It can trigger an activation that you weren't aware of because someone's opening a new door that you never quite were able to access. And that can mean to creativity, more money, deeper relationships, a trigger into actually witnessing yourself healed from the previous triggers, and
Mhm.
that relationship is demonstrating to you what you're capable of now instead of who you believed yourself to be because of past experience.
For sure. I mean, that's why I kind of landed on the term catalyze.
I love that. Yeah.
Like we got some chemistry going on here, you know,
Mhm.
the alchemy. And really what I'm finding is like any which way that some part of our shadow is still remaining in the shadows, right? I think that's why that Carl Jung coined
Right.
that term. We're finding really novel ways to bring it into the light of our awareness. Now, what we do with that, this is why your point about slowing everything way down is really important, I think, at this time, because otherwise the body is still in survival mode. I mean, it goes into fight, flight, fawn, or freeze so fast. And so to work with the body and be so attenuated, like what micro level awareness, and then giving the body the loving attention it needs to what we like to call today vulnerable, but really is just being honest. Because so
Yeah.
many of us learned you're not allowed to be honest about how you actually feel when you were little, that everyone forgot how to just be honest, you know?
Yeah. We can think of our bodies as throwing a tantrum, and how would you handle a 3-year-old throwing a tantrum now? Would you beat it up, shame it, put it in a corner and tell them that it's wrong? Most of y'all on this call would be more present, more still, extra patient. Breathe with it. Wait for it to be receptive so that you can pick it up and hug it and make it feel safe.
Yeah,
And so our bodies are in different ways throwing tantrums, and it requires that level of presence
that's
to
it.
really navigate.
Absolutely. So much. And otherwise, John, I don't know about you, but in my own life, I've seen it, and I'm certainly talking to my clients. Then the tantruming toddler hijacks the whole ride.
Oh
And
yeah.
if anyone's a parent, like the best thing we can do with your child when they're tantruming is provide loving support but not enable that or reward
Hmm.
that, like, and let that lead because that's just fear leading. So this, I won't lie, like, and I won't pretend that this isn't incredibly, we really set up a challenge for ourselves in these lifetimes because this is a lot to work with. And if you reframe it, it's like, woohoo, this is a lot to work with.
Hmm.
But I can feel it in the field that many people are feeling quite taxed and overwhelmed right now, and their bodies are tired. And I just want to let you know, like, that's really normal because the body's starting to hit the end of its rope for all the coping mechanisms and survival strategies that the ancestors could rely on. That's not going to fly today. So if you're feeling a little bit threadbare, that's perfectly normal right now. Yeah, okay,
So,
yeah.
so what are your guides sharing that how we can be more attentive to our bodies? I get some of the practices from the past are great, but I feel that that there's more clarity around how to tend to the body than again some of the simple practices that we've had before. And again, some of them are amazing. Um,
hmm
but I feel like there's a different type of listening and action.
I think that's a great question. I think the best way we can do this is the way I've been guided to talk to myself and my own clients is change the pronoun I, because we're not one integrated entity, not yet, to the body. Just like you would think of it as your horse that you're riding. And to your point, if you whip your horse and yell at it, that's not going to go very well, right? But if we confidently and lovingly, consistently is the key, show up to be very present with the body, this is what I've seen in sessions. The body is going to be like, oh, maybe you actually are listening. Because I hear the body all the time, and people's bodies are saying things like, whatever. She doesn't listen to me anyway. That's
Mm-hmm.
nice.
Right.
That's nice. You guys are having this conversation, but she'll get off this and she's just gonna do whatever she wants anyway. She never listens to me. And then that reinforces ancestral programs of like, we're not worthy, we're not part of that. And then to be fair, the soul can actually be pretty judgy about the body. I know a lot of healers feel very trapped in their body. So then we got to get the soul to kind of, whoo, let's work with the judgment here and just provide loving compassion and work with your own fear because the fear of the soul is I won't be able to complete my mission. And a lot of starseed souls, I'm just going to call it out. I was here too.
Please.
We look down on the body, the human body. We're like, well, this form, this is not what I'm used to, you know? Now, how does the body receive that? Not terribly well, you know.
I
So
agree.
so that's what I would say. That's what I've been working with. And I will tell you that the body really starts to respond when it's listened to at this level and given a seat at the table.
Well, as you're speaking about this, and we're giving this life to live. And living life as we come into it is really non-negotiable. We're going to go through our waves and we have our expiration date, however that was agreed to, and it'll happen. But living life is non-negotiable. How we choose to devote ourselves to living that life is, and what are we choosing in the process? And I feel so strongly that we're being called forward into what is really important for us right now, or what are we willing to devote ourselves to? Our body, our inner resurrection, if you will, our taking away toxic environments that we knowingly put ourselves into and then complain afterwards why we don't feel so good, whether those are toxic relationships, toxic environments, toxic financial situations, toxic habits with our health and our food. I'm extreme diabetic, but I got to sneak the cookies in anyway, and then I bitch that something's going wrong, and not only is it not good for me, but what am I doing to my loved ones
Mm,
when I keep perpetuating the thing that's causing the harm that I'm trying to avoid, that I'm complaining to the world I can't get out of, but I'm the creator of that reality.
hmm hmm
So
So
it's
this,
we're being called
um,
forward in this
mhm.
altar. Our bodies are saying, "You're not a victim. What are you choosing?" And
Yeah.
how do you begin to align? And spirit provides us pathways for individuated healing along those lines.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting you bring up examples just like that because what I'm seeing is that because the body's consciousness has all these maladaptive strategies that include self-sabotage to maintain a victim mentality because the victim identity in the ancestral line, if I'm not a victim, then I'm nothing. And there's terror around annihilation at the ego level. So they'd rather still play the victim in the body because that's safe, that's the known, that's the comfort zone, and then fill in the blank. It could be anything, victim, perpetrator. I mean, gosh, we have all sorts of things we can take on and play out the roles. So this is why I just keep bringing it back to the body right now, because you have to find out what allowed this form to actually survive. And it has all these crazy workarounds and distortions that are now, to your point, it's like this is creating the same cycle, the same looping pattern. And, the soul can witness it and be like, wait a minute, what the heck is going on? Like, why is this still happening? And here's what the body says. The body doesn't want you to even look at it. It doesn't want to reveal its tricks. And of course, as a metaphysician, many of us, we can see it, especially for other people. And then it feels judged and it gets scared. And then we immediately go, nope, this isn't about judgment. This is just about finding out what's going on and letting you know there might be a different way. And then you spark the curiosity of the body. And then something else yeah, there you go. I can feel the field opening as a result of that,
Mm.
just talking about it.
Yeah.
It's
The
creating safety for the body.
the beautiful part about what you're speaking into is that we are at a spiritual mature place and conscious expansion that we're not holding those thoughts or those beliefs that we're in the same way. Our capacity to hold the field for that devotional space that I speak of, what am I really committed to, has become greater. Some people just haven't put it into practice yet to begin to trust it within themselves, but that
Hmm.
capacity is there. The potential is there. And so as we lean into it and put ourselves in an environment that supports that potential activating and blossoming even further, we
Hmm.
come to discover parts of ourselves that really surprise us that exist, and we're able to create a timeline that is in accordance of what we really want instead of a split timeline that's going back into I'm stuck, I'm the victim, I don't know what to do, I
Yeah.
receive no help, I'm abandoned, and all those are realities I know. But I also want to share that that's why we do these calls. That's why there's communities. That's why we're here reminding each other because we're guiding each other into, and that's why Spirit's coming in so strongly for so many
Yeah.
that we're hearing in ways that we've never heard before. There's so much support that wants to take us into this liberated, vital
Yeah.
activation that we have the potential to step into if we choose it.
Absolutely. I mean, back to your comment about, and that's been validated back to you, time to fall in love with life again, but without as much distortion running in the body, performance, all of that. So it'll be cleaner, it'll be pure, more authentic, right? And my dad in spirit is always coming in saying, hey, kid, lean into the joy.
Mm,
Now he's at an advantage because he dropped the physical body, so he's not carrying what the ancestral line carried, and he carried a lot of very similar patterns I do. So I want to like give very concrete examples so people can understand what I'm talking about. So in my own walk, this body has an ancestral line that will go into despair and hopelessness. And I've known that for a long time. Like in my 20s, I could spend months there. And now it can move through in hours. But, these next level clearings that are really dredging stuff up from the deep, my soul and my greater self are very clear on my plan and my purpose and kind of what I'm here doing. And I'll watch the body go into a whole story around hopelessness and despair and watch all the chemical cascade happen in the body. And sometimes it happens still on like default. And then you're like, wow, how did we get there? Or I can feel it teetering and I have a choice point. And that's the window of opportunity that we're talking about.
Wow.
where the soul can lovingly disrupt the body wanting just to tell that old story and go, wait, 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 body, I know that's so familiar, but what if something else were true?
Mm.
And then you'll feel, yeah, I can feel bodies changing. And then the body will be like, what? And then it won't go through that same. And that's how we lovingly get our bodies up and out of the ruts
Mm.
of like,
What are some of the ways that you're aware of that become more in relationship with that teetering point so that we can tip it in the point that we'd rather go?
with this is where what you were saying earlier about slowing it way down.
Mm.
We have, if we want to speed up ascension, right? We got to slow everything way down to become micro alert to what was that? What did that? That's such a and I'll tell you, I mean, I got help with my shadow work initially. That's how it even found its way to me in this just getting support and mentorship with it because it's so hard to see your own blind spots because they're like the oxygen you've been breathing since you arrived. The family culture's like it, the collective culture's like that, but it's really slowing it down to go, wait a minute. I'm about to go down this old pattern, or I went down it. I just slid right off. It's like Candyland, woo, all the way back down, right? And then what did I just think? And then gathering that information about the thought or the story you were just in. And the next time that you're about to do that thought, see if you can't disrupt it lovingly. Now, I won't lie, the body, sometimes the body's like, I want to do this. This is what I know. And I don't want to change it. And then that's a negotiation. And I will tell you, don't put pressure on the body. It will backfire. Just be like, I
Yeah.
understand. If that's where you need to hang out still. See, just doing that, I could feel a whole bunch of bodies just go, huh? What do you mean?
Yeah.
Oh, have I can just do whatever I want. Would and it's almost like reverse psychology with your
Well,
body.
I'm that way personally. Someone tells me I have to do something. I'm like, no, I don't. It's like it's not happening. But if you present it in a way, it's like, oh, that's interesting. Of course. It's like there's a willingness to show up rather than a pressure or an expectation to perform.
Right there. Because pressure is judgment.
Yeah.
And judgment in physics is resistance.
Mm.
So nobody likes being pushed against, you
No,
know?
definitely not.
Yeah. Yeah.
Definitely
And
not.
I'm being told right now that it's really important to let the body um have its say because I'm being shown like spirit and soul like they're always yeah, they're like really in the know in the right. And if we can just get that part of us to stand down for a minute, to your
Mm.
point, the body has tremendous wisdom and to invite that in and say, what do you know? And what
Yeah,
do you want to share? What do you know about navigating this planet and this realm? And
right.
yeah, I can tell the body's like, thank you.
Mm.
Yeah.
But then that translates into other relationships in our lives. Then we get to show up with that much presence with people that we love, with our children, with friends, because we're capable of slowing down and listening and the quality of those relationships become a fractal mirror for the intimacy that we're giving to ourselves and our body.
Now you're getting to the big why. Like, why even bother doing all of this?
Mm.
Because the quality of our life and all of our relationships goes into such a higher harmonic.
Mm.
And that,
And we receive better from that standpoint. Again, this is a function of receiving,
yeah,
right? We open the channel to receive. A lot of people, I can't channel, or where you're not willing to receive.
yeah, well said. But again, lovingly with the body, why would the body develop that block to receiving? Because it has a story. No one will support me and I'll only be disappointed again. So it's all self-preservation. So you're working with the
Yeah.
body to decommission those stories.
Yeah. And I call it a story and also an experience of where that happened once before. And it's trying to protect himself from repeating
Right.
that experience, right?
Yes.
So
History.
story is one thing that we can say we're making it up, and a lot of times after the first experience, we make up a lot of scenarios where it might repeat itself because we're trying to protect ourselves.
Mhm.
But we wouldn't have context for that story if we didn't have an experience. So with a lot of compassion and understanding, we can sit with the body. It's like, hey, I know that was hard.
Yeah.
Hey, we went through that, right?
That's a beautiful distinction. And that story comes from history that could be 2,000 years old
Yeah.
and just has repeated down the family culture. And we don't know why we're saying that. And then we're starting to discover it in the body.
Mm,
Yeah.
yeah. Ish, I want to open up to some Q&As. I know there's going to be some great questions and energies coming through. If y'all want to ask a personal question, raise your hand, type your questions into the chat box. Um, there's something else that I want to address in the questions, but I think I'll do it in a little bit. Um, but I'm being guided right now to go to Tanya. Tanya, welcome to the call.
Thank you so much. Um, Gosh, I'm not even sure how to form the question. Is there a way, do our bodies speak to us? Can we speak with them? Is it through our guides when we have issues with our bodies?
Yeah.
I'm not really even sure
Yeah, no,
what I'm
it's a
asking, but
wonderful, wonderful question. And your body's really pleased you're asking it for you specifically, but I imagine this would apply to many others. I'm being shown for you to write like automatic writing to have your body to be able, yeah, your body's like, yes, yes, give me the pen, give me the pen. Perfect.
Mm.
She's got a lot to share with you. Just sit down and just start writing what comes. Yeah,
okay.
that's
Thank you.
beautiful. Thank you for the question.
Aisha, would you recommend a certain amount of time or days in a row and all that? Because y'all receive good information here and you'll do it for a day or maybe think about
Mhm.
doing it and then maybe not apply it, or maybe you do sometimes, a lot of times. But I really want to invite as you're receiving this wisdom on these calls, it's to really follow through. If it sparks
Yeah.
something for you, if it doesn't spark anything for you, I get it. But if you're like, yeah, that sounds amazing, and I think I can show up that way, and I feel something's going to break through or open, then again,
Yeah.
I want to invite you to take action um, with the practices. And so,
I'm
Aisha,
hearing 30 days consistently, John. 30 days consistently will let the body know that you're actually serious about listening to it, however you choose to do this. For some of you, I'm being shown you're going to go for a walk with your body and your body's going to talk to you that way. But just doing it consistently for 30 days because we're having to break through a threshold where many people's bodies just they don't believe it. They're like, no, this
mm,
is too good to be true, and you don't really mean it. So just kind of like a friend who's down and out, you just need to show up consistently, not be a fair weather friend, if that makes sense.
nice, beautiful. Tanya, thank you so much for your question. All right, let's continue. We have a Zoom user. I don't know your name, but I think you know who you are. Welcome to the
Hi,
call. Hi,
my name is Estela.
Estela. Hello.
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 Well, I'm 78, and until now, I have been in great shape. No pains, no nothing. But now I'm falling apart. I have pain in my legs, and I went and got an MRI, and I have bursitis
Mm,
or liquid in my joints or something like that. Of course, I still don't know what to do because I still have to see the orthopedic.
mhm.
But could it be something emotional or something? What causes that? Nobody can give me an answer.
Yeah, well, here we go. This is a beautiful example of what, and I'm sorry you're in that pain, by the way. And I'm sorry your body is in that pain. I want your body to hear that. This is an example of what used to work won't work anymore in terms of overriding your own needs and what the body needs and overgiving. So taking time to sit and ask your body, why is it manifesting this pain and what is it trying to tell you that you're here for it and you will not ignore it. Yeah, there's a lot of sadness and grief of a lot of like the generations of overgiving and self-neglecting, okay? And that, yeah, your body, your heart just kind of like went, oh, just needs some acknowledgement and tending to you instead of everyone else first, if that makes sense.
So I have to be more for myself, be more
Yeah.
to myself.
Yes.
Well, I do a lot of things for myself, believe me, but I guess I need to do more.
Whole new level, whole new level. Yeah. It's really talking to your body and giving it a platform for it to talk to you. Yeah.
I really like what you shared earlier, Aisha, in your own experience. And me, I'm going to get to you in a second. I was guided to call on you, so hang out. Um, I really want to address it. It's about this place of over-functioning and over-giving. So bursitis is inflammation also caused by overuse and repeating the use of the same thing over and over again, where we continue damaging and then it inflames, it gets filled with water for to trying to protect it.
Mm.
And so where am I overusing for the sake of getting something? Where am I giving so much over and over from the same source that it's depleting me? And now I have to go back in order to try to heal myself. But it's hard to heal myself because I've gotten so out of balance with it that it hurts. And if it hurts, let me try to do something else to compensate because I want to keep doing what I was doing because that's how I earned love. It's how I was accepted. It's how I managed to find love and play in other ways, or it's how I related to life. Um, so I love the way you're tapping in, Aisha.
This is a great time, John, for me to tell my own personal story from Italy. So I thought I had balance down in over functioning because this has been a pattern that my own spirit guides have brought to me for years until I arrived in Italy last November and landed in the hospital with a burst kidney for ignoring all my own needs, right? And over functioning. And it was a complete reset. So I have lived through this myself. It was definitely part of my soul plan. Again, this isn't just our own individual personalities, tendency, or pattern. It is ancestral. So you look up the line above you, and how did your mom, your grandmother, your grandparents, your father, how did they do it? Did they self-abandon? Did they push through? Did they ignore their body? Did they give up? Were they victims? Did they, I mean, so like all the different patterns, and you're gonna play detective, and you're
Well,
gonna go, huh, that
my,
is probably go ahead, Estella.
my mother died when she was 30. My grandmother died at 43. And all of my family, they were all 7 Day Adventists. So they denied me. They were, I mean, and they all lived to be over 100. My great grandmother died at 104. They did not even use glasses.
Mm,
They all live a long, long, healthy life. They just died for all age. No cancer, no, nothing, either a heart attack or something like that. That's all I know of the people because I've been the mother since I'm 11 years old when my mother died.
okay.
So I guess I have to look at more and I don't know who to ask.
Yeah, so thank you for explaining that. Knees are I'm not supported. Okay. And so that would have been your physical experience. You would be in that. You experienced it to John's point, and now it's running. So now it would be what else could be possible if I didn't have that same feeling that I'm not supported? Yeah, your body actually responds well to that. I can feel it and work with that. What else could be true besides I'm not support? Yeah, your team's coming in now. And then it changes. See, if we're in the constant same looping idea without even realizing it, we'll just be in that. So you're opening pathways for yourself by just opening what if I changed my story to I am supported and then allowing that to show up in your reality and working with that alchemy. Is that making sense?
That's making sense.
Okay.
All right, Stella, thank you for coming on, love.
For
Blessings to you.
also,
And read the chat. Tanya sent you a message that may be beneficial for you. So
thank you. Thank you.
yes, yes.
God bless.
Thank you.
All right, Aisha, let's continue. You didn't finish telling your story though.
So, in the hospital with burst kidney, well, it was immense pain. Then in Italy, um, diagnosed me with the burst kidney, left kidney, haha, symbolic, because I'm hyper independent, hyper masculine, right? And do not have a history of asking for support. Um,
Mm,
was going septic and then put on antibiotics and went through a whole sequence in the hospital received a lot of love and support from all the healers around the world that I'm in connection with. And on my birthday, if 5, 6 days later, I don't think I told you this part, John. I woke up in the morning and all pain was completely gone. And I sat up and went into the crystalline fields of light of my greater self and had a full-blown, samadhi experience.
Wow.
So I went through what I was shown as the definition of nirvana, which isn't the bliss out, because you can't have bliss if you don't have contrast. So it's the whole multidimensional codex of like the most hellacious pain and suffering
Mm.
to the most exalted transcendent state. And I too used to do a bit of a spiritual bypass, like we can just transcend all this. And there are a lot of teachings on the planet that do that, but that doesn't complete the arc. It's useful in that that can provide an amazing alchemical container for the body, but a lot of those traditions deny the body. So we have to complete the arc now. That's what we're all doing
Mm.
at this
Beautiful.
time. Yeah.
You're right. Not trying to override the body. You're broken. Let me fix you. We have to include the body as,
Or my favorite
as
one,
the
the body's just
consciousness.
an illusion. How do you think the body hears that?
Mm,
It doesn't like that.
interesting. Yeah. It's an illusion we live with. Yeah. So amazing. Thank you for sharing that. Let's go now to Mia. Are you still here or did you take off? Mia, if you're here, turn on your video and come on board. Let's get you to unmute your microphone as well.
Unmute. Okay.
There you are.
I think
Hi.
I found it.
You did. Welcome.
Yeah. Hi.
Hey there.
So I resonate with so much of what you're saying tonight. Yeah, right now our bodies are going through some really weird stuff. And as an empath, I feel not only mine, but everybody's around me as well. Um, but I really don't have a question about that. My question is kind of off the wall. I'm wondering, I have this pattern that I've just recognized at age 54. I just turned 54, and I just recognized that I have a pattern of rejection. And it runs so deep, and it's in my family lineage. It's like, and the rejection, is not from like me being a bad person or me doing something unforgivable or anything like that. It's rejection just for me being me, I guess. Nothing that I've done that's horrific that would ever warrant, my family rejecting me. Because I've talked to so many people about this and I'm in therapy for this, among other things. But man, I was rejected by my mother. I was rejected by my father, then my stepfather, then my cousins, then my nieces, then my nephews, then ultimately all three siblings. And now my daughter, my adult daughter,
Mhm.
has rejected me and has not given me any reason why.
Okay.
And um and and now she just had my first grandchild and I was not invited.
So do you
And
want to see what the pattern is around that or what's coming
yeah,
up or what's your direct question? Yeah.
I just want to see what the pattern is and what am I doing to cause this, and
Mhm.
and and why is it making me feel like a victim, because I do not like
And
feeling like a
and I
victim.
want to rephrase the question because I baited you into it. Rather than seeing the pattern, let's maybe we can ask what intelligence wants to be revealed right now for my highest good, right?
For my highest good. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
want to flip the switch. I'm ready to flip the switch.
Let's see what Aisha brings in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, I'm sorry you're going through that. And I'm sorry that your body is experiencing that. Yeah,
Mhm.
there we go. Okay. So let's cut out all the middlemen and find the part of yeah, it's your body. It's not your soul. Because I saw it in your paternal line that internalized rejection, so self rejects. And then the physical reality is simply obeying physics and it's mirroring it. And that the reason that's happening at such a high degree is not to punish you, it's not karma. It's because this part is in so much pain and it wants resolution. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah. So this part that, yes, has come down your line. It's like twofold. There's a self-rejection before anyone else can reject. And right along with the self-rejection is a fortification. It's a defending. It's like a fortress that the ancestral line built But behind the fortress and the defenses is this really small, like 4-year-old child who feels
Oh,
terribly abandoned.
oh my God.
Yeah, there you go. Your whole field's changing. Whew.
I was locked in the closet at 4 years old.
There you go.
And you were locked in the closet at 4.
Abandoned,
Yep.
abandoned, emaciated, starving. I mean,
Mm,
terrified at 4 years old.
I'm sorry. The reason this body experienced that is because in the line, and I can see it up the line, there is a lot of that experience. And so it becomes an echo, and then everyone, each generation replicates it. It's not just random. Yeah, there you go. It's shifting. We're clearing it. Whew. Oh, there we go. Yeah, so that part's able to come back
So,
home and integrate. Yeah,
so,
there you go.
so I make them reject me, so they won't. So I reject. So I don't understand. I think
Yeah,
I think I'm creating this to protect
it's
myself.
the body, the body is creating it because the only option the body had in that closet was to have the story be, the meaning be, I'm rejected. And so then the
Mhm.
self-rejection lives in here and then it expresses in mirrors. But there's a lot of alchemy that happened. I felt your whole field shift and like your
I
high
did
heart
too.
just opened.
I just think
Okay.
it's amazing that you said 4 years old because I was 4 years old when I was locked in that closet.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And your spirit team is so present. Okay. You have a lot of love. And now that that part that's been locked away is reintegrating, you're going to be able to feel that a lot more. Okay. Yeah.
What do I need to do? Anything or?
You just did it. You just did it. Just be with that 4-year-old part and love her. Welcome her
Beautiful.
home. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so
Ah,
much.
blessings, Mia.
Thank
Thanks for
you.
coming on. You're so welcome. I was just calling her. I kept insisting. Y'all, we're gonna get some more Q&A. I want to go back into the conversation, and I want to ask y'all this, and I'm kind of baiting you, but it's with good purpose. What would it feel like to align with your soul purpose? What would that feel like? And what if one doorway or a major doorway to do that in is through the gateway of your shadow alchemy? I know that to be true in my own experience. And Aisha, in her special offer for BTO, is is providing a pathway to access and traverse that gateway through these experiences with her. Highly encourage all of y'all to click on the special offer link that's in the chat box. You'll also find the button underneath the video where you're watching the call from. If you happen to be on YouTube, you'll find the link in the comments section as well. But Aisha, if you would let everybody know what portal they're stepping into when they choose to go in deeper with you here.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, John. That what just got brought up with Mia, brought up a lot for everyone. I can feel it in your heart. So just take a little extra moment to be extra tender with your own heart center and everything that's coming up for you. The kind of containers I put together are exceptionally loving and safe. And it's a place where we all get to unmask and drop performance and have our fears and our body's fears catalyzed because it's hard to do that on your own. That's what we've been talking about. And then we can gently and lovingly witness the judgments that come up of ourselves, of others. So it's a really unique space because let's face it, most of society is not there yet. That is not safe to do in a lot of, just out and about in society. So it's a little bit of rarefied air where we can do this. And then, of course, your spirit team works through me to help you, bring into the light what you've been missing. And everyone, every container I've ever run says the same thing. I thought that was just my issue, but oh my gosh, it's
Yeah.
theirs too. And so it's bringing us out of isolation back into your point earlier, John, community with a focus on unity.
Hmm. Really powerful. So, how's this course going to run? What are the dates? What's the
Yeah.
class length? I'm assuming everything's going to be recorded.
Yeah, absolutely. Replays are included and they tend to be very powerful, just like, being there. But I really like people to be able to attend live so they can get the individual support. Although sometimes
Mm,
people will write in their question and they'll get the support recorded on the replay. That's a possibility too, if you can't make all of them. So it'll be February 20th, the 22nd, and the 24th. So these will build on each other, and there will be like alchemy that just kind of starts to it's almost like snowball. And it's kind of what I'm being shown now is untangling like a big knot. So that's kind of the whole point of this is that it's really hard to see your blind spots. You get on the call, other people will bring up their issues and it will catalyze something for you. You'll bring up yours, you'll support the group and contribute the catalyzation of. So there's just, it's kind of like the sum is greater than the parts. And they'll be about 90 minutes each, maybe 2 hours, depending on how many people are in the group. But I just watched some really beautiful alchemy happen in there for everyone. And of course, this is post my rebirth after after Italy, so I think it'll be even more tender.
beautiful. Y'all, this is a special offer with Aisha. It's $111, a two payment option. Look through the special offer and read through some of what Aisha put together for us as far as outcomes that present themselves also by going into this field. But again, once you know this yourself at this level, you can't unknow yourself,
Yeah.
right? And
Yeah,
once
it's
you
really what I've heard people say in the past is like, wow, I'm able to meet myself so differently.
Mhm.
Yeah. With love, versus
Right.
that fear taskmaster, whipmaster behind us, that the body's constantly jumping and we don't even realize it until we have
Mm.
a chance to slow down and have these things brought into the light of our awareness.
I love how you took Mia from there's something wrong with me. It's like, oh, this is what created that experience. Big difference. It's a whole different level of incubation of healing rather than a cycle of just self-flogging, trying to beat yourself out of a condition.
Yes. One of the biggest things I hear consistently from people's spirit teams is depersonalize and depossess. So we're going to stop saying I and my.
Hmm.
Yeah. And that starts to change everything. And then you realize, oh, this is just the expression of a very old distortional ancestral pattern
Mm.
that we're going to love home.
So beautiful. Y'all, it's a very special offer. I hope y'all take advantage of it. Again, you know where to find the link now. And Nisha, let's open up to a little bit more Q&A on the call if you're open to it.
Perfect.
All right, excellent. So my glasses are kind of like lol. Am I pronouncing it correctly? Let's get you on the call. Welcome. If you can unmute your microphone, please.
Sorry for the delay.
Yeah, you're
Thank
welcome.
you for taking my call, and LOL is short for Lolly. So yes,
Okay,
thank you.
great.
Um, you know, my question is just related to the previous question too about sometimes it feels that we're experiencing things in the body on a collective scale. And I felt that I've been processing things not from an individual scale, but on this collective scale. Like there's been deep grief and letting go of the intensity has, it's not mine alone to bear. And
Mm,
I'm wondering if certain people are just helping clear the collective consciousness of, deep rooted or this legacy, things that
Yes.
haven't been cleared yet.
Absolutely. And thank you for your service. Thank you for your body's service. Your body's super connected to the cetaceans and the water, and you have a lot of support there.
Great. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah. I'm being shown water goes where, it flows. So like the path of least resistance, and because you're an open conduit and you can
Yeah.
feel, here it goes. So they're just saying and they're saying you do a pretty good job of taking good care of yourself. So just keep
Yeah.
that up. Um,
Thank you.
because yeah, a lot of people, to the point we keep speaking of, our ancestors didn't have the capacity, even our living ancestors, to feel. the adaptive strategy for survival was suppress all feeling, but we can't heal what we can't feel. So yeah, there definitely are outlets such as yourself and many others helping to just move all of this now at this time. So thank you for that.
Mm.
No, thank you for the clarity, because that had been a question overhanging, and there was a lot of confusion over why I feel so overwhelmed by those moments. But now I'll know to accept them with more grace. So
Yeah,
thank you.
really, really lean into your whale family, the collective. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, there you go. Woo. So yeah, beautiful.
Beautiful.
Lovely.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I have a reflection, and I'd love your awareness around this, Aisha. And Lowell, thanks for bringing this up. You said there's some of us that are here that we're helping clear the collective. And we're navigating this point where we're graduating and transitioning from Pisces and Neptune into Aries. And Pisces is very collective consciousness. Let's hold each other together. Let's be in love. Let's be in community. Everything will be okay as long as we love each other. And that's wonderful. And that season has served its purpose in different ways. And as we're stepping into that Aries energy, it's more about the fire of taking the resources that we have and forging something forward. But my experience in this also is that we have to entrain ourselves that we can't carry what isn't ours anymore. It's not up to you and I to clear the collective. You and I can hold a space of vibrational accord for what's available when it's cleared and the potential of
Mm,
holding that so that others can feel the harmonic and listen
mm,
to it as well through your expression. But we can't be the ones dragging them up. We can lead the horse to the water, but we can't make it drink.
yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Thank you.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
releasing the sacrificial energy, the carrying the weight. If I only carry this one more person through, it'll be okay. There's always one more person. There's always a next situation. There's always another eruption in the field. Can we hold the grid work for the higher vibrational aspects
Mm,
of love as a technology to impregnate the consciousness? Absolutely.
mhm.
But we can't force feed it onto the collective.
Yeah.
Wondering what your awareness around that is, Aisha, and what you might add to it.
Yeah, the where I'm being led to share is that I have another role that I do here on the planet, which is I do a lot of restoration of the living architecture of creation. So you can think of that as grid work, but it goes beyond that. And so I get sent around to different regions and I work it for a good 9 months to a year, sometimes 15 months, depending on the level of what's needed and how bad, it's been regressed or inverted. And because you can't just flip it 0 to 60, you'd fry the life forms there, right? So we
Mm,
have to like do attunements up, 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 right? Like key changes. And I was just visiting with my massage therapist who here in Colorado, and I'm about wrapping up here, 2 months left, moving on to the next assignment. And since I've been here, I've watched her build out a whole wellness center and a whole team of people, like moving from Chicago even, are starting to come together. And I saw it, and what becomes really clear is that some of us have a role to like prepare the field so that
mm,
then others can build off of that. It's much easier to put their plans into place. So it's kind of like, to your point, John, stay in your lane, know your complementarity. Here's a big message wanting to really come through for everyone. Don't try to be like anyone else. Do what you do really well,
mm.
and then trust that those who then can take that and run with it will do that. And so that's what was wanting to be shared is that we all have a complementary role.
Beautiful, beautiful. Lowell, thank you for what you're doing and this light that you carry that we're benefiting from. It's great to have you here. Thank you. Let's go now to Natalia. Welcome, Natalia.
Hello. Hi, John,
Hey,
and
you.
hi. Hi, Aisha. You're probably surprised. I'm just was in the gym and I decided to say a few words
Awesome.
here. So I picked up all the conditioning and difficult ancestral lineage, um, and was always feeling like I'm by myself, I'm alone. It's difficult. I'm just surviving. And I found Aisha in the last uh, mm, call when you were in October, I think,
Mm.
on Beyond the Ordinary show. So I signed up, and my gosh, I I want to tell everybody that it was a life-changing experience for me,
I love
because
that.
I always felt alone, and I was really trying. I'm like really um trying to make it all happen with my ascension, but I understand now that we can't do it alone, and it's very important to have a right guidance and support. And it's the first time in my journey I felt like, and I feel like I'm actually supported, because I'm very looking forward to each session with Aisha. I see her every 2 weeks, and whatever's happening in my life, I feel like I'm guided. And then I come to the session, and we work on what's going on exactly in the moment, what support I need in the moment, and going forward. So I would suggest and advise to everybody, just please do yourself a favor and be give yourself some love, and don't do
Mm.
it on your own. It's so difficult. It's very important to find the right guide, and Aisha provides very loving containers. So shadow work may seem like a daunting, scary word, but she holds the space, and it's very safe and supportive, and it's not scary at all, and it's guided with the guides, and it's very loving container. And what's also very important is with her that I like that she gives support beyond to the course what you pay for.
Mm.
She sends the emails and letters almost daily with exactly what the community is going through, and it's so helpful. And I don't know how it's happening in the collective that it fits exactly where I am at. So it's very helpful. So I
Thank you
wanted to
so
say
much,
that.
Natalia.
What a
I
beautiful
really appreciate
reflection.
that. And we have some good giggles too, don't we?
Yes, thank you for everybody.
Thank you.
Natalia, do you have a
Yeah.
question that you want to ask while you're here?
No, I don't. I
No?
work with Aisha, and I ask all the questions.
Wonderful. Well, thank you for coming on and
Yeah,
for giving back from what you received with the
Mhm.
generosity of your expression of what's true for you. It's like,
yeah.
y'all, if we just share from that space with each other, that authenticity is like this is what's good. I grew up Colombian. My parents were used to, and my family are the way that they keep track of family and friends. And again, they came from small villages. So you kind of gossip about other people so you can keep up with the news. And a lot of times it's more fun to gossip about the bad things than about the good things. It's just it creates more story and more drama and you know, it's like the whole adventure potential. But like Natalia was doing with her experience of Aisha, when we share from those activated relationships, those that are bringing us forward, those that are providing something really good, it's like it ignites a potential in other people, but it also uplifts us into another aspect of potential of grace coming in and demonstrating to us what else is possible. So we're creating a circuitry with this consciousness. And I can feel it in you, Natalia. I'm trying not to be so verbose, but I'm trying to land the energy of it as well. And again, in the generosity of your authentic sharing that so much was given to all of us on the call. And I'm curious what you're ready to receive next in that generosity. Right. Right. So thank you. Thank you for coming on. Um, all right, Aisha, I think we've got time for one more caller. Let's go to Robin. Robin, welcome to the call.
Thank you so much.
Mm.
Um, I'm a little emotional right now.
Take your time.
Okay. Phew. For the past like about 6 weeks, every morning when I begin to wake up, I'm gripped by fear. And I was programmed for fear from day one of my life. So that's, easy to arouse the fear. But
Mhm.
now it's like every day. And so I do all the good things, like I practice gratitude and meditation and mindfulness and all the good stuff to try to get myself out of it. But I never get completely out of it on any one day. And
Mhm.
sometimes I'm completely paralyzed and I'm
Yeah.
just like, oh, I can't leave the house. And like, oh, I can't even go to the mailbox to get the mail because, oh, God forbid should see another human being.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
like, so I'm trying everything I know to get out of this and
Yeah.
rise
Okay.
above it.
This is beautiful. I'm so glad that you brought this
This is
in. So
perfect.
this,
Yeah.
you're going to see if everyone's listening and watching the same pattern emerging where we tend to judge something like this that's becoming acute as negative inherently versus, wow, something is coming up, a pain, part of the pain body is coming up for healing and integration. Aha, reframe, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
now, like, because that takes like 40% right off the top as all the negative judgment and a story about how bad this is. Yeah, there you go. Your body just started to relax a little bit more.
healing and
Oh,
reframement.
yeah. It's like, okay, something is really coming up for resolution that could never come up before because it
Yeah,
wasn't time, it wasn't safe. And here's what I heard as soon as you started speaking. In the ancestral line, there is a memory of they're going to take everything from me. I'm going to lose everything. The body is terrified.
yeah,
It doesn't want to be exposed. It's in hiding. Hiding was safest, but
yeah,
it didn't save it anyway. And so your body's going through massive turmoil that's expressing itself. Yeah, there you go. So my field has the ability to help shift some things, so I can feel that happening. So there's a lot of energy moving and clearing, especially across here in the throat. Yeah, there you go. And the mouth of God chakra just opened here at the back. There we go. Woo! Yeah, just getting the body
yeah.
into a different orientation with your greater multidimensional self and your greater soul structure. Yeah, so it can start to work through the body now. Yeah, there you go. There you go. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, you've probably been like, why are my tools not working?
Yeah.
And this is where these acute parts of the pain body, the ancestral line in this body, are going to come up for resolution. They're going to be reintegrated, and then your soul can actually start to take up and occupy, bring more of your soul in because we can only fit a fraction in because it's so much light. So this was very intentional on the part of your soul and your body. It's not an errant mistake. And I hope everyone hears that. What you're experiencing is not a problem, it's not a mistake, it's not a failure. It's what your ancestors did not have the capacity to heal, and now you're doing it.
Mm,
How do you feel?
Oh, yes, yes, yes.
Okay.
mm.
Yeah, it keeps going. All this is clearing.
Ah,
Beautiful. And people are commenting, I'm feeling it as well, that Aisha, I can feel the shifts from everybody that you've spoken to from the beginning and then as the transitions were coming through into just something just alleviating and expanding in the
Yeah.
field. And Robin, I felt it in you. So it's what y'all are doing on this
that
call, which
feels
is I
like,
want to witness those who are showing live, and I know that y'all are proxies for everybody else that's listening, is we're really augmenting and refining our capacity to receive because look how fast that's happening.
Yeah. Yeah, the body wants resolution, but it doesn't know where to turn, right? So trust, I'm hearing trust where you're being led.
Hmm.
Because your spirit team will make sure you're getting where you need to be to get
Wow.
the support. In fact, I can feel the tongue is still clearing for many. It's amazing. Think about it. If you're in hiding, you can't make a sound. I mean, there's so much like trauma stored in different parts of the body for
yeah,
different ancestral lines.
Well,
yeah, oh, yeah, absolutely.
blessings, Robin. It's
Thank you,
Thank
I
Robin.
can
you.
feel the energy lifting, but it wasn't, yes, it was for you, but I can feel it on the call. I can feel just the ripples of it. So Thank you for being an ambassador for that to happen for all of us.
Oh, it's an honor. Thank
Thank you,
you
love.
both.
Aisha, tell me what you are excited about that is in the field,
Mhm.
um, for the people that you're working with and the work that you do.
Yeah, it's the first thought that just dropped right in was like the bodies after they do, listen, I want to everyone to know it's not all going to be a slog. It's not, there is light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah.
And where you get to on the other side of it is play. And that's what I was feeling.
Mm,
My body, I've really been with my body a lot since early November in Italy. And my body is starting to move into play mode. And that is what I'm really excited about because,
mm,
we're not here for endless shadow work and endless healing. Now, I have to be careful here because I don't want to minimize thousands of years of unmet, unresolved pain.
mm,
I don't want to pretend like we can snap our finger and it's all just going to be alchemized. But if we consistently show up every day, every morning, I spend 3 hours with my body, and it's beginning now to pay off where so much of what it needed to express has come through. I'm going to give you all one example that blew my mind, but made so much sense. My whole life, I've been an athlete, very strong. I hiked to the top of mountains, part of my identity complex. And my body said, we have to show everyone how strong we are. And I thought, now that's an interesting way to phrase that.
mm,
I have to show people. Why do we have to show people? And then I got a flash of a pre-hominid race of beings who literally left their weak behind to die if they weren't strong enough. And I went, oh my gosh.
wow.
We have Olympic athletes probably driven by that wounded motivation, and we have no idea
Hmm.
that that is a survival mechanism that we will get left behind. So as I've done that, so many of these have made their way forward. Now it's time to play. And we
Mm,
can create all new constructs and new playgrounds using the primary principle of creation, which is play and
mm,
creation itself and recreation, not survival, not drudgery.
right.
Yeah. So that's where all this is leading to. I just want to give people
Amazing.
some hope. It's not endless drudgery. Yeah.
Well, with all the work that you've done in service and how much you shared, it's my wish for you is that that play activates exponentially more and more every day.
I receive
Yeah.
that, John. I so receive. Yes, my body even is like,
Fall in love with life again is my
right.
message. Yes.
Right.
Yes. Oh my God,
Beautiful.
so beautiful. Aisha, thank you so much. It's wonderful to have you here again. What you open in the space and conversation energetically, and the potential of activating even more of that play, of that vitality is just it's extraordinary. Again, thank you for what you do, and again the generosity in which you share it with.
Thank you so much, John, for having
Mhm.
me. Thank you,
Yeah.
everyone.
Blessings to you and
Appreciate it.
blessings to all of y'all on the call. Thank you all for being here. Oh man, it's y'all, it's find everyday reasons to be excited about life. Just do it. Just find it. Find just at least one and ride that wave as long as you can every day. Um, and then bring it onto the show. Come back on the calls, go into Asia's community, and spread that ignition, that love, that vitality for all of us to receive through you. So again, bowing down to every one of you in Namaste. And I look forward to seeing you all on the next call. Bye, everybody.